Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome again to the Digital Talk Show. This is our last segment, and we would like to welcome our colleague, Mr. Faisal. How are you?
Thank you very much, Dr. Anwar.
What do you have for us today?
I've got a very exciting thing to talk about actually today. We're going to talk about technology and cameras and how they developed from old days until what we have today. I thought I'll bring this subject up because nowadays in cinema, especially in Hollywood, there's a new thing. And it has to do a lot with technology. And there's a really remarkable thing that there's a type of camera that's being used that was not used before. As we know, film has always been film,
Yes.
especially in cinema. It always has been film, 35 millimeter. This is very important and it's always been like this light projected on film with the negative, this traditional thing, because it gives us depth. And this depth is very important in cinema. Maybe less important in TV. It's more 2D in TV, but in cinema it's very important to have this depth. Now, if we can go back in time, Dr. Mohammad, and show these kind of cameras before. This camera is a typical 35 millimeter, the one we see on the screen, if you can show it, 35 millimeter camera. This is not, it has nothing to do with electricity. It's only operated manually. You crank it up. It's the same kind of frame that we use today, 35 millimeter, but before, the maximum frame you can get per second was 16. So you crank this up with your hand. As you can see, there's a lever here. You can turn it around, mechanical. You turn it on, you get 16 frames per second. What I'd like to show is video number 1, if you will. It's cameras that went electronic.
Yes.
And these cameras were used in the 60s, 70s. Perhaps they stopped using them in the 80s. These kind of cameras are very, very complicated. They're electronic, but very complicated. You need a technician. As you can see, it's crazy. It's like a a rocket,
very
basically.
Huge, very huge.
Yes. And this is just this advancement just to give you a better picture. Now. We stopped there, okay, and like I said, we still want to go with film and cinema because film is very important. This manual film, negative projection, because it shows us depth. We kept using that, and actually most movies that you see is still using this traditional cinema roll or film roll until the camera read. Now, if you don't mind, if we can show video number 7, video number 7 at the very beginning, it will give you an idea of what this camera is. It's basically a camera called RED. It's the size of an SLR, a still camera SLR, but it's not a still camera. You will see it here on the left. I'd like to explain a little bit about the size. No, actually, if you go at the very beginning, yes, there we go. This camera, as you can see, there's a lens part, there's a lever part, there's maybe a tripod, like a kind of a balancing thing. But if you see in the middle, it's a very small camera. Even the LCD screen that you see is not a part of it.
Exactly.
The body is
mounted on it.
Exactly. It's a very small device. This device, what's remarkable about it, and I'd like to, why it wasn't used before, is because it gives us what we call shallow depth of field. This was not present in any kind of digital camera and any kind of technological camera before. You had to use the manual camera before. What RED gave us for the first time is this depth. It almost kind of fools you that it's using film, and it gives you this depth that you see, like the mountain feels really, really far away, and closer objects feel closer, just like how the eye sees it. This is what RED does, but digitally and with technology. What's remarkable about it is that it uses 24 frames or 48 frames per second. If we can show a bit of the outcome.
Slow motion?
If you can, no, actually, if we can go to the video where, video number 3.
Okay.
The demo. I'd like to show the things that this camera is capable of doing. If we can go to video number 2.
Still,
yes. If we can see that on the screen, if you can go back to the beginning, because I'd like to talk about the candle. What you see here, you see this, how you see the light of the candle.
Exactly.
This is what's remarkable about this camera, is that it gives you a very high quality of low light, which a regular film camera is not capable of doing. And also it gives you this depth. If you can see, it doesn't feel so digitally.
Right.
It feels, there's depth about it. It feels very cinema. And this is what's different about it. You see that the depth.
Some tricks in there.
Exactly. It kind of tricks.
It tricks the eyes, yes.
It tricks the eyes. I will not go very deep into the technology how it does that, because it'll be a long subject. But it does that. You see the depth.
Yes.
This was only able before. You were only able to see that in regular film, and Red does that by using the newest technology, which gives you this kind of quality and feel. Now, if we can show, I'd like to talk about the movies lately. Now, like I said, most movies that you go to watch, Hollywood movies, are all movies that are shot on regular camera. This kind of camera is kind of still newly being introduced to high-end films. I'll give some examples. The Amazing Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, is all shot on this kind of. But let's play The Hobbit, if you will.
Okay.
The Amazing Spider-Man. There's other movies, even Batman. The newest Batman was also. There's a lot of scenes that were shot on a red camera. But I'd like to play The Hobbit. This is the trailer from The Hobbit. It's all shot on red. Why I want to show this kind of trailer in particular, because it was shot in 3D, and this is where I'd like you to explain more, Dr. Anwar. This movie had 3 red cameras, always there, 3 of them, so that it gives you these 3 angles, so that it can translate it into 3D later, which is something more of your field. If you'd like to, please go ahead with the screen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Faisal. I think I will follow up from my side here. I will show first some pictures here in my monitor. For our director, please show this. For example, here, these are the 3D monitors. As you can see, the cars are coming out of the monitors, the displays. You see?
Nice trick.
Yes, these are the tricks we are talking about. Now, it is like it's flying from the monitors, coming to the faces. Of course, it used to use the, this ITV goggles, wide view 3D. We have this in the scientific center here in Kuwait. You can wear this TV glasses or the 3D. It is like a closed loop with the display. Of course, it says here, ITV goggles, a leader in video glasses, has released the specification of its upcoming wide view 3D, which will allow the display of side-by-side 3D movie. While 3D monitors use either, you see, this is the question, either shutter technology or polarization to display separate images to each eye. There are separate images, you see, to each eye.
Wow.
Yes, and then they are combined.
Merge them together.
Yes, they are merged together. This is the trick into this. So this is, the 3D glasses use discrete LCD displays to show the correct image to each eye. So there are LCDs images in this glass. According to early testers, the effect is nearly perfect. Of course, there are so many information on this, but of course, then we can go to another video, small video, so that we can show. I hope the internet is fast enough.
What if machines could seek help before they broke?
You see?
By using predictive analytics to detect signs of trouble, some companies are saving millions on maintenance. That's what
These are the films.
I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
So, very small, very quickly, we are trying to show here, that is, these films, as a matter of fact, are very important so that you can use the glasses connected to the displays in the 3D. There are technology, the polarization, you see, and the shutter technology. Each eye sees some slides, and then they are combined, they are connected. Then, for example, you can see the whale coming out of the screen to bite you. You see, all of this is movie tricks, and it plays. But now, with the high resolution, those glasses, which we have showed just now, no need for them.
Okay.
Because of the high resolution, the bits, the pixels, are so enormous, so high.
How high?
Well, 1 million or so.
Yes,
million.
yes.
1 million pixels.
And I was asking you before if we actually need that, but you explained that for 3D we actually do that.
Yes, for
because
3D, the technology, the clarity, the resolution, it seems we do. Because now it is much cheaper, and I think Dr. Mohammed has a comment on this.
I have a question to Mr. Rajab. What about the slow motion?
The slow motion, yeah, I'd love to come to that part. What's also remarkable about Red now, if you shoot the whole movie with this kind of camera, let's say you were shooting it in a regular camera, which is what's mostly used today, this regular film. When you go slow motion, it doesn't give you that crisp frame by frame. Let's say there's a lot of, we use a lot of slow motion in film. So you can't, on regular film, you can't use slow motion and give it with the highest quality. With Red, what's remarkable about this is that it is a cinema camera. It gives you that kind of film feel, but it also gives you 300 frames per second.
Wow.
Now what this means, now you can't tell, when you're watching a regular scene, you can't really tell, you can't really feel the 300 unless you go slow motion. And the example I'd like to show here, I picked this particular example. As you can see, this camera, this is not a movie. This is not a high-end. This is someone who's used it at home. Just feel the quality and the frame. You can tell the frame by frame. This is all done in the backyard. This is not a big Hollywood movie, but you feel that Hollywood quality to it.
So can I produce this on my...
Any day.
Oh my
You
God.
just walk with this camera. It's only 10 pounds, Dr. Mohammed. It's only 10 pounds without, of course, the lenses.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Only 10 pounds.
Only
huh?
10 pounds, but here's the bad news. It costs $30,000 US.
Oh my, that's the
which
price.
is about, from 20 to 30, which is about from 6,000 to 10,000 Kuwaiti dinars, without the lenses, without anything, just the body. So it's quite pricey, but the options that you get and the quality is really endless. It really is endless.
And since you talked about this, Doctor, I would like to show something here.
Please.
The Twitter, can you believe it? Very soon we'll have 3D pictures and video.
Do we need it?
Do we need it? Yes, that's the question. Now Twitter, you see, to catch up with the market. They are challenging their Instagram.
True.
So if we can see this, if our director show us, there is a company called Dotro Cameras, add Instagram-like filters and a 3D effect.
Oh my God. To your Twitter account.
These are, come on, Dr.
It's
Mohammed.
like you are playing in my background.
Exactly, exactly.
Hey, but this is a challenge.
A big challenge to the Instagram, yet, but because Twitter is so powerful now, you remember they didn't show pictures before.
Right.
Now you can show pictures. They didn't show links. Now you can show links. No videos. Now you can show videos.
Oh my God.
Now all the technology is becoming this. This is the challenge. You see, merging technologies, becoming easier, becoming sharper, becoming more and more attractive to their audience, so they are included into the service.
I get invitation in my Twitter account,
Yes.
but if it is appended or attached with a picture
Yes.
of a cake piece,
Yes, a piece of cake.
a piece of cake, it will be lovely.
And if this piece of cake can smell very nice.
You
And
can smell it too.
You can smell it.
Complete
You
picture.
like to eat cakes?
Of course.
What kind? What kind?
After a
Rajab?
big meal, after a kebab meal, you see.
Let's hear it, please.
Definitely the strawberry, what's it called?
Cheesecake.
Velvet. Velvet.
Red velvet.
Yes, this is
Oh,
amazing.
I
with the
just-
cream.
Somebody just did the red velvet at home. If it is homemade, tastes different.
And you can have that smell and vision, the whole thing. Because when you smell, you feel like you ate it. So if you can have that with a device, then I don't think we need food anymore.
No, خلاص, this is it. You can smell, you feel fed up,
Yeah.
fill up, whatever you
And it's good for a diet.
Yes, it's a good for diet. This is what we need, I think, Dr.
Well, that's a
Mohammed.
good idea.
Yes, we have to think of it.
You smell it, but you don't eat it.
Yes, and you have to have some
It's a
sort.
torture, doctor.
Yes, like a controllable.
And you know what I would like to also mention about Red, what I felt about this camera, which kind of reminds me of what you're talking about. You know these kind of applications and technology that you talk about that we're getting on the phones and the advancement. In film, it was a little kind of, it didn't go that far because, like I said, the film was very important to be shot on regular film. So it gives you this depth. But I think what Red is doing, now I also would like to mention, when you use this camera, you can control the whole thing with a screen, just like you do with an application. Unlike regular cameras where there's buttons and everything, no, this whole thing is on an LCD screen. You click and drag, and you can stop with just dragging and motions, just like you do with your iPhone. So this kind of technology that you're talking about is kind of spilling into cinema today.
I must tell you something. I always argue that the computers don't have senses as such. And you guys,
Please.
on the other side.
You are touching sacred grounds here.
Yes.
Be careful.
These are the touchy
Yes.
subjects.
the touchables.
I will show you now from the New Scientist website,
Okay.
the source of this information. Computers identify what makes abstract art move us. It tells you here that from certain pictures, it can tell who you are. If our director can show my monitor so that we are having a lot of information here.
Why do you hate to me like my computer?
I think no, it's not hating, Dr. Mohammed. I will tell you. Analyzing images to find what aspects evoke which feelings could allow computers to create art that packs an emotional punch. Can you? Yeah, this is. I think this is too advanced. Quite honestly, this is a New Scientist. You see, this is the website here.
Okay.
And it's very new news.
So these artistic images represent emotional states.
Exactly.
Of some people.
If you can put them, analyzing them, and put them together,
yes,
you can create a storyboard like.
Oh my God.
And the feelings. What is at this point of time? What are your feelings? Why, for example, you are wearing white at this point of time, and you are not wearing another color? For example, you see, putting all those pictures can analyze Dr. Mohammad Al-Mullah's character.
Unbelievable.
And Mr. Rajab's character also.
Unbelievable.
So we are into this stage whereby so much analysis and recognition, as we showed in the security, the voice, the face, the hand, everything now can be analyzed because it can be digitized. Once you can digitize any picture or any movement, then you can understand what's going on.
Can I use technology to choose my future spouse?
Your future spouse.
Yeah.
I think you can. I think when
What do you think? If I take my iPad to my fiance or my future bride, please touch it, please play with the computer, and the computer is analyzing here.
Like Dr. Anwar said, our computer and devices have a lot of us in it. So if you want to expose or tell someone your personality,
I will show you something also. I will show you something also. If you are not believing me, I will show you.
But to add on your comment, I think the company that really built on that is Macintosh, Apple. They really built on this emotions more than PC or whatever. This emotions. That's why a lot of Apple users they just tell you, "I love my device. I don't know why I love it." But there's a marketing trick.
They bridge the gap between the hardware and mankind.
Yeah. That's why there's they kind of especially I think we can talk about it in the future and how they were able to reach the consumer on a different level. Not that you need this device, buy it. No, it's you love this device.
On the psyche level.
On the psyche level.
I will tell you something from a New Scientist also.
New Scientist.
I will tell you something, Doctor. Be careful with this playing with the feelings of other people.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
Yes, I'm telling you.
I didn't play with your emotions.
I have a sense. I have a sense.
No, you are your computer.
My computer transmitting some signals, your computer, and I'm getting the feedback from your computers. And it says to me, Dr. Mohammed, in this mood of doing some fishy things, some tricky. Let me read this, please. This is a New Scientist, not me.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Our mobiles talk to each other.
Exactly. Transmitting our senses into machines is said to change the way we live. Says Helen Thompson, but it is unintended consequences should care about. So it says transmitting our senses into machine is set to change the way we live.
True.
Just now you mentioned something. Our feelings can be transmitted to the machines.
Yes.
And this, the problem is that these feelings, or those feelings, could be also analyzed. And
enhance our lifestyle, our feelings, our interaction with others.
Our attitude.
Characters,
everything will be put, because nowadays we need all of this information for our public relation exercise, for our training. There are a lot of information, Dr. Mohammed. It needs a little bit of a concentration.
Okay, a small question.
Please go ahead.
With your emotion, if you are Spanish, if you are foreigner,
yes,
can I read your emotion?
With the computer?
Yes.
Yes. This is the beauty of it, because you know why? Since you have a dictionary, a translator, or whatever, you can translate in Google Translate, for example, to some extent, because the translation depends on the translations. Of course, anything now digitized, as I said to you, you can do anything we like to. Once your feeling have been digitized, then you can send in whichever language you like to.
I think the FBI agrees with you.
Yes.
The FBI developed a software. It's called PIMS Lior.
Yes.
PIMS Lior.
Yes.
It teaches you language in 10 days.
Yes.
And allow you to communicate with others in this new language.
10 days.
In 10 days. This is the challenge.
Goodness me.
Give it to army soldiers, give it to anybody, and they can learn the language in 10 days.
Dr. Mohammed, actually, I have a question for you, kind of to add on to our subject. You work in the field of artificial intelligence.
Yes,
we were just talking about how the software is learning your emotions and learning your senses. How do you feel about that? Because this is like a clone. This machine in front of you is cloning you.
Yes,
it's
my
cloning your
dream.
DNA. And
it's one of the dreams of Alan Newell in '92. He said, "I want you to develop your emotions in the computer in a system."
But isn't that kind of scary? Because this machine that is a part of you still now has all your emotions and senses, and it can
interact better with you.
It can interact with other people as if it was you. Isn't that kind of a threat?
Computers.
You know what I mean?
And
this is what's happening.
Exactly.
This is happening.
Yes, it could be very dangerous.
It can send emails as if it's you. It can act like you. Isn't that? I don't know. Where do you draw the line? If you know what I mean.
Now you just mentioned something. You know, I think some fishy machines or people are using Google Docs to transmit documents to Google Documents.
Yes, I use those.
They are using this as transmitting information to your family, to your contacts.
As if it was you.
Yes, they are using it as a base to launch themselves from Google Documents. They use this.
And they use your handwriting, not handwriting. They use your style of talking. They use your kind of
signature, electronic signature, and everything. You as if you are there.
So basically,
yes, sometimes it does happen. Now
it's stealing your intelligence.
Now there's electronic
warfare. Don't scare me. I am on the edge now. Are you telling me don't use technology?
Well, this is your field. I'm saying, how do you see this? How do you see it?
It is, you are who you are.
Exactly.
Huh?
That's philosophical. Yes, this is wisdom. I think we are hearing this wisdom in the last minute of the show, and this is what you are. This is exactly what you are saying, Dr. Mohammed. I think the director is saying to me, 1 minute, so I think we have to end this show. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Faisal, for being with us tonight and for this and for very useful information. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed, for always the big smile you have.
Thank you. In return, I thank you and your computer, which read my mood today.
Yes, keeping you in the high mood. Thank you, everybody in the studio. Thanks, everybody on the control room. And thank you, all of you, our dear viewers. Until we see you next week, goodbye and take care.